Good morning, Merab fans. I know you just came out just because he's champ now. All of you suddenly spawned in and appeared. So hello, welcome to the comment section. I know you're going to comment. Let's get out of the way. Sean got dominated by Merab last night at UFC 306 in the Sphere, right on the big screen so everyone could see it. Overall, it was a pretty uneventful main event fight. We did have some exciting fights, some actually incredible fights down the card, which we're going to get to. But let me just say, Merab looked better. He executed his game plan. He was extremely strong. He had a better gas tank. And what more can you say? I mean, Sean could have caught him. If it was a different night, I'm sure he could have caught him. And that's how UFC goes. That's how sports goes. That's why we like sports, because it's unpredictable. And on a different night, Sean wins. But on this night, it was Merab, not taking anything away from him. And I'm looking very forward to seeing his future matchups. I think the UFC are definitely going to give Umar that title shot right away. Expedite it. He went from not fighting a ranked person to getting into the rankings at number 12 to fighting Corey Sandhagen for number 2 or 3. And then now he's just going to fight for the title. So literally one of the fastest title runs ever, probably up there with Alex Pereira. But if it means getting Merab out of that title, I think the UFC are going to do it ASAP. I've seen so many channels, us included. We've made videos about how Sean was going to win, and he didn't. You know, it is what it is. You can't predict these things. We try, but you know, we all wanted Sean to win, I think. Come on, you're lying to yourself if you want Merab as the champion. You're lying to yourself. Also, if you're wondering why Dylan isn't here, if you're a loyal Dodson's Corner enjoyer, he is just depressed right now. He just can't get on camera for you guys. So apologies about that. He'll be back in future videos. But today it's just me recapping the card. And let's get into it. Let's get into the full card and break it down. Rosas Jr. got a pretty easy win, 29-28, unanimous decision across the scoreboards. This was fair. That's what I had it as well. I was actually watching this one in the car. We were at an event last night, me and Dylan. So yeah, we couldn't really watch the fights on the TV like we would have liked to, especially for the Sphere event. But we did get to catch some of the fights. I watched all the recaps on the fights as well. So I watched them back. And yeah, some of these early prelim fights were unreal. Raul Rosas Jr. didn't have the best performance of his life. And I think if he wants to get to his goal of being champ by, you know, the youngest ever, so beating John Jones, and he wants to retire by 25, he's going to have to improve faster than this. I know he's only 19, nothing against him. He's 4-1, but I didn't see anything out of him that wowed me or exceeded my expectations. I know he's good on the ground. I know he can grapple. He needs to show me more than that. Shirez versus Van was literally insane. Like possibly one of the rounds of the year in UFC. That was unbelievable. Joshua Van was able to get it done. And I was thinking at this point that my prediction of the Sphere being a great card was going to come true. This kicked off a beautiful prelim. Next up, Bahamondes, dude, he put on a clinic. He got a first round KO, looked very solid in the striking. Bilal Muhammad was telling us on the Joe Rogan podcast, he said this guy's next up, and it definitely looks like it. He looked unbelievable. Super happy for him that he got the win and carried the momentum again throughout the card, keeping the momentum high. I'm not going to talk about the women's fight on this card because I didn't actually watch that one, I'm going to be honest. But I did watch the Norma Dumont. Everyone watched the Norma Dumont fight. Let's be honest. She looked good in more ways than one. No, honestly though, Norma Dumont does look like she has title challenger potential. One more good win. She already beat Irene Aldana in this fight with that nasty cut. Did you guys see that her whole head was just completely split open? That was brutal. I usually like seeing the cuts above, like, I don't know, I think they're kind of cool. But this looked like her head was splitting open from the inside. If you haven't seen this, you have to look it up on Twitter. Look up Irene Aldana cut or something. And yeah, it's brutal. I think a future matchup against Ketlin Vieira would be good, and then go for a title shot from there if she gets the win. I'm looking forward to it. I will like watching her fight. Before we get on to the main card of UFC 306, I do have to say, thank you so much for all of the support. We passed 300 subscribers so fast, way faster than we were expecting. We had a goal of 100 subs by UFC 306, which was just last night, and we have 307. And if you guys want to become part of the best community, it's right here. Moving on to the main card, we had Ode Osbourne take on Ronaldo Rodriguez. This was another banger fight. It literally looked like Rodriguez get knocked out like cold. He got KO'd cold and then just got up and was able to recover. Osbourne had him on the ground for a little while, tried a couple submission attempts, which was good to see. But then Osbourne didn't really pick it up in the last 2 rounds, and Rodriguez was able to recover, and he looked pretty good throughout the second and third round. It was very close. I could easily see people having this scored for Ode Osbourne. I don't have a problem with that. It was a close fight. Either one. I'm not upset if either one would have won that one. That was a tongue twister. The second fight on the main card, we had Zellhuber versus Ribovic. And again, this is like my predictions were coming in true. This was going to be a banger event. All of the fights pretty much were unbelievable. They were absolute wars. Even if they were going to decision, that doesn't matter if people are putting it all on the line. We don't need to see KO finishes if it's good matchups where people are actually competitive and it's not just super one-sided. So I was like, yeah, my prediction of UFC 306 being one of the best cards is maybe coming true. This fight, honestly, Zellhuber, I saw a comment, Zellhuber has a chin made of Max Holloway. Yeah, pretty much. In that, I think it was the third round, if I'm not mistaken, where Ribovic was just teeing off on him. He was doing the UFC 5 animation of ducking and dodging. I don't know how he stayed on his feet. It's unbelievable to me, and I would love to see these guys both get some sort of good matchup, favorable matchup in the future, because they both have such good records and they're both extremely talented. So I need to see them again fight very soon. Now for my main event of the evening, this is the fight that I was looking forward to the most because I knew it was guaranteed to be a banger. Diego Lopes versus Brian Ortega. I did not think Diego Lopes could get it done. I'm going to be honest. I picked Brian Ortega, but his story has to continue another day. Unfortunately, it was not Brian Ortega's day, but I'm so happy for Diego Lopes. He is a star. He is up and coming. He's here. He has arrived, and genuinely, he is so exciting to watch. It doesn't matter if he doesn't have the best fight IQ at times, if he should stand someone up, but he tries to go for a submission. The fact that he goes for things all the time and tries to finish a fight, that's what you should be doing as a fighter, within reason. Obviously, gas tank, pacing yourself, whatever. You should be trying to finish the fight. Right away, within like 20 seconds or 30 seconds of the first round, Lopez had a huge moment against Ortega, and I was like, okay, this might be over. He wobbled him and then got him down 2 or 3 times. Or no, just twice, really, with 2 big punches. And then he went for a submission attempt on the ground. He hopped on the back, and I was like, what are you doing? Like, stand him back up and finish him. I know Brian Ortega has a great chin. Max Holloway, Volkanovski, all those fights, really, Yair Rodriguez, they all really tested his chin. And this fight, again, tested his chin. And he's still showing that he has it. I am worried if he goes up to lightweight like he's talking about, how his chin's gonna hold up there, but we'll have to see. Also, did I mention the colors back here? The Merab colors for you guys. We got white and red. That's for all you Merab fans. I know there's so many of you. Diego Lopes goes from being number 13 ranked to probably number 3 ranked, taking Brian Ortega's position. So what's next for him? What's next for Diego Lopes? I think either a comeback fight for Volk could be huge matchup. I would love to see that. And also a rematch versus Movsar. Let's see a full camp. I think Diego Lopes can beat him. He was close in that first fight. He had so many submission attempts. I want to see Movsar get KO'd if he beats Aljamain Sterling, which I don't think he does. But if he can beat Aljamain Sterling, let's give him Diego Lopes. Oh, and also, he literally went and cornered Grasso after going 3 rounds with Brian Ortega. He immediately went to corner Grasso, which, leading on to my next point, did not work out. Grasso looked awful. This whole fight was killing the momentum of the card, like everyone's been saying, and I totally agree with that. I picked Shevchenko, but it doesn't even feel good to see her win. It was just boring, and Shevchenko has great highlights. She has good striking. She has great wrestling. but this was just boring. I don't want to see someone sit in full mount or half mount for the whole fight and just control it. Merab, I'm looking at you. Yeah, the two fights on the top of this card really kind of killed the momentum, unfortunately. But like Dana White said, you can put together a great event. You can put together a Sphere card and have it be this historic event, but you cannot decide how the fights go. Before we get on to the final matchup on the card, I just want to say that the Sphere graphics looked amazing. The movies, I watched some of them back because I didn't have the chance to watch them on my phone when it was happening. They looked unbelievable. They were cool. I think everyone was kind of doubting, and I can see where the money went now. 20 million, still a lot of money, but I can see how this new technology is so expensive to get started. So the fact that they were able to do this on the Sphere and it's never been done before, there is a lot of things that they have to engineer to figure this out. And that's what costs the money. So I think it looked great. I think everyone kind of saw on TV, it translated pretty well. I'm sure in the Sphere, it was even more unbelievable. And I really hope that they go back there again in the future, maybe make this like a recurring thing. I know Dana White said he has a contract with MGM where it probably states that he can't use that arena repeatedly, but who knows? All right, Merab versus Sean. Merab just looked better. There's really nothing more to say. It could have gone a different way on a different night. I think I said this in the beginning of the video. It literally felt like Leon versus Bilal 2, which is not a good thing. That fight was awful. And this one really felt the same way. Grapplers, wrestlers, they're on top right now. Striking era, it's coming to an end right now, unfortunately. And Dana White hates it. You know Dana White was in the Sphere just with his head in his hands like, what have I done to all these divisions? We have Pantoja. We have a Merab now. We have Bilal. We have Dricus. Dricus is fine because he gets finishes, but yeah, it's not looking good, bruv. It's not looking good for the UFC. Matchmaking these next two guys, we could do a full matchmaking video with Dylan. I think that would be kind of fun. But right off the top of my head, Sandhagen versus O'Malley. We can finally make the fight. We can finally make that fight happen. Everyone thought we're never going to get that fight because Sandhagen lost and O'Malley's the champ, so it doesn't make sense. Well, O'Malley just lost. So let's make that fight happen. Give him Sandhagen, or if you don't want to give him Sandhagen, give him Jan too. That would not be a favorable matchup for Sean because, I mean, that first fight was pretty close. But Sandhagen would be a favorable matchup, and if they are going to try and rebuild him, maybe that's the fight to do. For Merab, his next fight, I think it's obviously going to be Umar. There's no one else I can think of. He's taken out all the top guys. So give him Umar. It's a new person. And I don't know who I'd pick for that one. Maybe Umar, just because, I don't know, it's Merab. Would Merab be more exciting as a champion than Umar? I don't even know. Let me know in the comments if you think Merab would be better champion than Umar. But yeah, that does it for the recap of UFC 306. And if you guys do like the videos, make sure you subscribe. All right, see ya.